This is Amateur Sports TV and Radio, and we're on the phone with President and co-founder Blaine Moroz with the Prairie Football League. How are you doing tonight, Blaine?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking.
This is the second year of the Prairie Football League. Tell us a little bit about it and how it come about.
Flag football is the fastest growing sport, not only in Canada but in North America. It's a great option for a no-contact sport for anybody who just wants to get out. It's fast, it's inclusive, and one of the favorite things that I like about the flag football is literally the spirit of the game. It's competitive, but it's not live or die by any means.
And this is open to adult and youth, co-ed as well, or?
Yeah, we have 3 leagues. We have a youth league from 7 to 13, and it's gender neutral. It's boys and girls. We have a high school division that is also the same, and we have an adult division based on numbers. We're hoping to have a men's division and a co-ed division running this year.
Awesome. And where do you guys play? This is all in Brandon or all in Westman, or is there teams from outside that area?
We have individual players that have come from as far as 45 minutes away last year to join our league. Our games do take place, our games and practices do take place at the John Riley Rugby Fields in Brandon, but it's definitely a Westman's league. We want to open this up to absolutely anybody that wants to give it a chance. And like we say, it's so new and so fresh. It's a perfect opportunity for anybody to pick up a brand new sport.
And so then you're saying like all games are then played in Brandon. There's nothing played outside of Brandon?
No, all the games are in Brandon. Yep.
And what would a typical season like? How many games would you play in a season, or?
We have 6 regular season games, and then we do run a full schedule for playoffs. With the youth side of things, we double their field time because we really want to get the kids playing the game. So we practice on Mondays in Brandon, and our games are on Wednesdays for the young kids.
So how many, just based last year's the first year, how many teams were in each division?
Last year we started with, we had 4 teams of adults and 4 teams of youth. Our total numbers were 92 people took up to the brand new sport in Brandon. So we thought, you know what, for year 1, for it being really unknown, that it's a really, really great base to grow from.
So if I understand it correctly, registration's open right now?
Yes, one of the things that we really like to be is we like to be very highly organized with anything that I've been involved with. If I can get on this as fast as I can, then it just kind of gives everybody a little bit easier to manage their schedules as we do start getting into the nicer weather. So we did open our registration on Monday for all 3 leagues, and if people are ready to go, we're more than ready to accept them. How
does one go about registering?
All of our registration and all of our information is on our website at prairiefootballleague.ca. You can just go to the website and you can archive any pictures, all the registration forms that I like to say. It's all one-step online registration, and you're good to go from there.
This sounds so exciting. It's another avenue for all kids and adults to get out there, especially us older people, maybe to get some exercise. But it sounds like a great opportunity for those who just want to play the sport, right?
It is. You know something, we kind of brag the fact that our oldest registered participant last year was 57 years old. So just like you say, this isn't for kids that are fresh out of high school. This doesn't restrict by any age. Being no contact, it's just a great opportunity for people to get out, get some exercise, hang with your friends, and it's a great, loose, fun environment.
Sounds like an excellent place for a guy like me that maybe has too big of a gut right now.
Well, you know what? You and me both. And I always tell people, if I can run down the field to ref, they can run down the field to play.
Blaine, this sounds so exciting. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this, to let the people know about the league and how to get involved?
Something I'd just like to kind of maybe touch on some things that, part of the reason that we did start this league is so we can kind of get out into the community and seek out some of the kids that might not have the advantage to get onto a field just through so many factors that keep kids off the field. Part of this being a brand new sport is we can reach out to some of the kids in the schools, and we find means to get kids on the field through sponsorship. Last year, we found 10 kids that otherwise would not be able to participate in anything. And we have some really amazing sponsors on our league, and they stepped up huge and covered the fees for those kids. And you know what? My wife and I were so proud of the fact that we're able to expose some of the inner city youth to just being a part of something. When you actually see these kids, they don't have to be champions, but, you know, the fact that they have the courage to not stand outside the box and actually step in from where they start to where they finish, that's the greatest victory I think that we could have as a league.
You made a point there of sponsors stepping up. Somebody that's looking at registering, there's a fee to play, but I think what you're saying is register, and hopefully we can help you.
Absolutely. And, you know something, we do have an offline option that if you do need payment arrangements or if your means are such right now, we do realize it's right after Christmas, just get a hold of us as a league. We're more than willing to definitely, the least we can do is try and make it as accommodable for anybody to get on the field as we can.
That is such a great thing to hear, Blaine. This is it sounds like such an exciting league. We like to come out there and maybe do some film of it and get one of our reporters down there during the season and do some stories with you guys on this as well.
You know, that would be fantastic. Any exposure, honestly, that we can get to the game, it just helps build this game. This is not the rebirth of football, but as I see it, being involved with football for over 15 years on the tackle side, and I'm a high school coach, this can give a kid the comfort level to maybe by the time they get to Pee Wee or Bantam to take that step into the physical side of football and maybe slap the pads on. And how do we know that, you know, through the comfort level and the confidence of just learning routes and being crisp with what you're doing, you know, everybody fears the contact, but the contact's not the biggest thing in tackle football. It's a tricky game to learn if you step in at a later age. So we kind of see this as a tool to hopefully help build the football numbers, because we do kind of realize the game's not under attack, but it's getting harder and harder to get young kids into the full contact sports at a young age.
You had mentioned to me off air that this is a 5-on-5 league?
Yeah, it's we followed the Football Canada standard 5v5 non-contact format. What this plays into is actually there was an announcement December 13th that there's a new Canadian Flag Football League for the adults. They qualify through regionals. They can go to the Westerns, and then they can go to the Nationals, and then out of that they become an international Canadian representative team for international play. So that just shows you just how fast this game is growing. That it's not a struggle per se, but you really got to be on top of the ball to keep up with how fast this game is exploding.
Well, and 5-on-5, I'd have to be in shape, that's for sure.
But you know something? The field is only 20 yards wide by 60 yards long as a regulation field. So it's a nice tight field. It's not like you play on a full 65 by 110 field. So you can literally play across the field. And you know what? With those tight numbers, it's a very quick hit game. A lot of it is just the jukes. It really is. The passes are all pretty quick passes. And then it's just up to the speed and the agility of the person carrying the ball.
For some of our listeners out there, like, okay, number one, 5-on-5, smaller field, or is there any other different rules or regulations that a normal football person like myself probably wouldn't know?
Well, it's a completely different game. The only similarity between flag and tackle is the ball that they use. You have basically, you start at your own 5-yard line, you have 3 plays to cross half, then you have 3 plays to score. If you don't, the other team takes the ball at their own 5-yard line, and they come back with the same 3 plays to cross half and then 3 plays to score.
Awesome. That sounds so exciting. I actually can't wait to get out there and do some filming of this.
That's awesome. We can't wait to have you.
Blaine, what a great interview. What a great thing you've got going on. We look forward to it. Keep sending us up to date, and we'll get this up online for you right away.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for anything that you can do to just try and help this game in this area.